In the ever-expanding universe of NCIS Origins, stepping into a beloved character's past is no small task, especially when that character is the enigmatic, poetic, and quietly intense Dr. Donald Ducky Mallard. For Adam Campbell, the opportunity to explore a younger version of Ducky isn't just another role, it's an excavation of emotional layers, a journey into restrained fury, and a careful homage to the legacy left behind by David McCallum. Campbell's portrayal has already begun to spark conversation among fans, particularly around one unexpected aspect of Ducky's personality, what he calls mech rage. For decades, audiences knew Ducky as the calmest presence in the chaotic world of NCIS. He spoke in stories, quoted literature, and handled death with an almost spiritual reverence. But Origins dares to ask a compelling question. What was Ducky like before he learned to master himself? Ducky has always had the stillness, Campbell explained in a recent interview. But stillness doesn't mean absence of emotion. In fact, sometimes it's the opposite. It's control, learned control. And what I wanted to explore was what existed before that control fully formed. That's where me rage comes in, a term Campbell uses to describe a very specific kind of anger. Not explosive, not outwardly destructive, but deeply personal. It's the kind of anger that turns inward, that simmers quietly beneath the surface. It's not rage at the world, he said. It's rage at yourself, at your limitations, at your inability to change something, fix something, save someone. In NCIS Origins, Ducky isn't yet the composed medical examiner fans recognize. He's a young man navigating the pressures of expectation, loss, and identity. Campbell describes this version of Ducky as brilliant but unsettled. He's already incredibly intelligent, Campbell noted. But intelligence doesn't protect you from emotional chaos. If anything, it can make it worse, because you understand the stakes more clearly. This younger Ducky is still learning how to process death, not just clinically, but emotionally. Each case leaves a mark. Each failure lingers. And unlike the older Ducky, who can compartmentalize, this version feels everything more acutely. Campbell leaned heavily into this vulnerability, allowing flashes of frustration to break through Ducky's otherwise composed exterior. There are moments where you see it, he said. A tightening of the jaw, a pause that's just a little too long, a line delivered with just a hint of edge. That's the me rage. It's always there, just under the surface. Of course, stepping into a role so closely associated with David McCallum comes with immense responsibility. McCallum's portrayal defined the character for over 2 decades, making Ducky one of the most beloved figures in the franchise. Campbell approached the challenge with both reverence and intention. I didn't want to imitate, he explained. Imitation can feel hollow. What I wanted was to understand the essence of who Ducky is, and then trace that essence backward. That meant identifying the core traits that define Ducky, his empathy, his intellect, his storytelling, and imagining how those traits might manifest in a younger, less experienced version of the character. The storytelling, for example, Campbell said, that doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It comes from a need to connect, to make sense of the world. In Origins, you see the beginnings of that. It's less polished, more searching. And the anger, the me rage, is part of that journey. Older Ducky has made peace with a lot of things, Campbell noted. Younger Ducky hasn't. He's still in the process of figuring out how to live with what he sees and what he knows. What makes Campbell's interpretation particularly compelling is how grounded it feels. The concept of me rage resonates because it's deeply human. It's the frustration of not being enough, the guilt of not doing enough, the quiet, relentless questioning of one's own worth. In a profession like forensic pathology, where the stakes are life and death, justice and injustice, those feelings can become overwhelming. Campbell tapped into that psychological tension, using it to inform every aspect of his performance. I think a lot of people can relate to that kind of anger, he said. It's not about lashing out. It's about carrying something heavy and not knowing where to put it. This internal struggle adds a new dimension to Ducky, transforming him from a comforting presence into a fully realized character with a complex emotional history. One of the most intriguing aspects of NCIS Origins is watching how this younger Ducky evolves into the man fans have loved for years. Campbell sees the journey as one of gradual transformation. It's not like there's a single moment where everything clicks, he said. It's a series of experiences, losses, victories, relationships that shape him over time. Part of that transformation involves learning how to channel his emotions more constructively. The me rage doesn't disappear, it changes. It becomes quieter, more controlled, eventually integrating into the calm wisdom that defines older Ducky.